What's up, guys? I got a little video here on CRIS or CRIS, whatever you want to call it. This thing obviously had a very monster drop, but it actually looks like it might be setting up for finding a nice bottom here. Based off of this consolidation here, this is where I got this nice white line here that I have going across, which was roughly around this 709 range. We had this giant rising wedge here that at one point it broke through. Everyone bought the dip and it ripped all the way up and attempted a breakout of that rising wedge, which brought it up to 1735, and then it came back down, got rejected on holding support, back tested that same previous rising wedge top, and then it just dumped all the way through. And now the bottom of a rising wedge target, the target of a rising wedge is the bottom of the rising wedge or the start of the rising wedge, which it came right down to. And it chopped around there and created a descending triangle roughly, wicking a little bit below, but it pretty much held support on that line before it finally decided to rip up. Now that's showing that some buyers came in here. Now, of course, now we've created a falling wedge here that's actually came back down and working on potentially holding this area as support, which is roughly around the 747. So you can see here on the 4 hour that it could be getting a small rejection. So there might not be quite ready to get through here yet. But what we want to see here is a nice lift off and maybe continuous consolidation until we get to the end, because sometimes it can take until like the 22nd of October here. But what we want to see is us continuously holding roughly between the 730 and the 743 range, as low as 730. But we want to see this thing take off here. And we can see that we got a little small rejection recently at this 4 hour converging Ichimoku cloud line, which was perfectly at the 780 level. But if we can see us control that level, we could see another takeoff here. Now, another good thing to look at is just off of this 4 hour Ichimoku cloud is this gigantic red resistance here. We can see on this uptrend, the last time we traded sideways and ended up breaking through, we had a very sweet liftoff. We even had one giant wick that came down perfectly into this cloud and then continued to rip up here just to fake and stop some people out before taking off, causing massive amount of buying pressure right here once they all got stopped out, most likely right here. So needless to say, it trended on top of this cloud. It even came into the cloud a little bit, causing some nice support inside this cloud, and then eventually, after losing it a few times, having a fake wick, that was kind of a warning shot. The cloud raised up in this area, but it was really thin. So when we eventually lost this cloud support, we dropped and we tanked really, really hard. And then we ended up getting a nice lift off, but we were in this red gigantic resistance area here. But now, since we've created this falling wedge, we've actually surpassed it. Something else to look at would probably be the daily, just to see how big of resistance we still have ahead. You can see all of this area here, which as of right now ranges roughly around this $8 range. Now, it's possible to get back into it and whatnot and trade sideways before potentially passing it and then lifting off again, but this would be a time to potentially get in, because if we can get ourselves out of this consolidation right here of this flag, back testing old resistance as new support, once you get into this range, you're in a very, very safe area to potentially trade this thing as high as you would like to go. I mean, obviously you don't want to get too greedy, but if this thing does decide to double bottom, it has some momentum to move up potentially pretty high. Now, of course, you have some people that are trapped up in these ranges. So I do have a box here of support around 1017, and then it goes as high as this 1259. That could be a pretty decent area to watch for as far as an exit position level. Excuse me. And then on the weekly time frame, we can actually see a very nice double bottom here also potentially forming if we were to actually maintain this area. This would be a very nice double bottom reversal here. And then if we did rip up into this level, even as high as, this $9 range that we got rejected for, bunch of times here we can actually, a couple times here we can actually see. We can put a line right here just to keep our eyes on it. But if we did actually double bottom right here, nice rounding bottom, potentially nice rounding bottom, bring us up to the cloud, which is right around 1054, we probably tap that. And if we came down and back tested and controlled this range, this thing is going to be getting geared up to go up pretty damn high. Now, of course, this is just me speculating because there's no way to say for sure. And if you guys are appreciating this so far, I would really appreciate a like button, because that would help my channel kind of get to other people so they can kind of see what's going on as well. But this is just an idea, and this is just what I'm seeing in the chart. So personally, you know, there's no guarantees or anything. But if we do maintain it, we can kind of look at a potential scenario of a giant weekly ascending triangle, or, you know, could end up becoming a bear flag, of course. Well, not really a bear flag, but some kind of ascending triangle that could bring us out. And if we actually were just to go off of that for the hell of it, we would actually see this target right here, which would give us a nice target of where we could end up, and it would be very freaky to see it landing pretty close to that cloud. I mean, it goes a little bit above it, I guess. Let me just delete this real quick. So if we were to, over time here, figure this chops in this area here before taking off, then we would see a target up here that would roughly bring us around that previous rejection point. We can actually see how this had a lot of confluence right here just based off of weekly candles. See, those flat bottom candles are showing rejection at resistance. And then we could see if we just did that, boom, rejection. Tried to hold a support, wicked way below, bought all the way back up, and then eventually rejected up in this range here as well. But this range roughly hits 1145, and then looking at the price target of that ascending triangle brings us damn close to 1145 as well. So, you know, these are just ideas, and this is like a long-term kind of thing. And then looking at the short-term thing, we're seeing some potential setting up down here. So these are some ranges to keep our eyes on, because this could be a very, very nice setup. Now, it might not move too fast. There might be some low volume in here, but ultimately, we'd want to see ourselves break above this 770 and confirm some support above it, unless we wanted to buy some low dips and just kind of start averaging in roughly in this range, and then just kind of holding for the potential takeoff. So this is where I'm at with CRIS. I don't know anything about it. I don't know anything about news, but it is gearing up. Buyers are here, and this could be a great area to start putting some long positions in here for even a hold of 5 to 6 months. I don't know how long it would take for all of this to play out. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and you know, keep an eye on this level up here at 915 if that is what you do, because you could get a strong rejection here that brings you all the way back down to potentially test that $8 range, and maybe create another falling wedge inside that pattern here if that is what's going to play out here. But this is going to be very, very nice swing trade in my opinion, as long as we don't lose any of these previous lows. I mean, you can definitely put some stop losses below $7 just to secure yourself from taking any big hits if this was to continue down this wedge and then hit this support one last time. It's possible it could do that, but for now it's kind of looking like it's gearing up here on the RSI, on the daily, on the 4 hour. It's kind of showing us what's going on. But if you guys appreciate this, please let me know in the comments below if you guys are in this, if you're looking to get in it, or if you just kind of like my idea here. Please leave a like, a comment, all that would help. I appreciate your time. Peace.